All right, so hello everyone and welcome to our Ascension Connection mastermind group for healers, huh? How does that sound, Gavin?
I love it, mastermind. Let's get it done.
I know, I thought of it the other day, you know, that's what we need as healers is like a mastermind group,
True.
you know, of support, encouragement, clarity, getting clarity on things, right?
Amen, great idea.
You know, I can barely hear you. What's going on with your sound over there?
I'm not sure.
Oh, now it's better. Whatever you just did.
Maybe I need to speak louder.
No, you're kind of cutting in and out. It's weird.
Huh. All right, well, hopefully it'll clear up. If not, let me know.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird. It's like cutting in and out or something, unless the connection or something is weird. So, anyway, so yeah, I thought of this mastermind group for healers.
Yay.
You know, and I'm more and more, I guess, aligning with my journey, right, with my divine path, recognizing that I'm really supposed to be working with healers.
Right.
Okay, and it's like, you know, I've been doing this for years now. I realize that, and then I walk away from it, do something else, and I come back to it again. It's so weird. I had to actually do some healings again around working with healers.
Yes, yes.
You know, I found myself again doing this whole procrastination thing, you know, this avoidance thing.
Right.
And I had this meltdown recently around that whole thing. So yeah, it's been very fascinating. You know, I'm getting more and more aligned with it though, you know, more and more embracing it in my journey.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So how are you doing? How is your journey so far?
Well, you described my journey. As you know, I get involved and, you know, I'm here for a few weeks, a few months, and then I get pulled away and I come back and I do more work and I get pulled away and I come back. You know, it's this on off thing. It'd be nice to, if it can be consistent, or maybe that's just the pattern, the cycle, the rhythm that, you know, it comes natural because, you know, we can't do this type of work 24/7 all the time. You know what I mean?
Sure. Have you started any of the stuff with the shadow work yet?
None.
Nothing yet. So what's
Nothing.
keeping you at this point from starting?
Feeling overwhelmed with everything else that I want to put ahead of it. I
Okay.
want to get my website up. That I've run into some snags over the past week. So it's just been like roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. So that's really where I'm at. Again, I'm not going to excuse it, but
Right.
it's, you know, it's on my back burner. It's not high on my priority at the moment. What's on my priority is not to say that I won't be, but what's on my priority for next week is just getting my website up and running.
Well,
and then
okay.
I feel I can do, you know, this other work.
Mhm.
Oh, and I've been having constant, you know, interviews. Yesterday I had 3 job interviews.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so you know that's moving along, but it's not just, you know, not just like I'm choosing not to do it. It's you know, life gets in the way, and you know, I'm trying to
Well,
juggle all these things at once.
well, here's the tricky part about all that, okay? Because in essence, you are choosing not to do it when you're choosing not to do anything about it, okay?
Yeah,
Because
right. I acknowledge that.
okay, when you're talking about putting this on the back burner, you should be putting it on the front burner because, and here's why I'm saying that, because those roadblocks you're experiencing is the stuff you need to heal in order to move you forward in your
Yes.
journey. So while you're trying to force your way, you know, to get this thing done, but you're not doing anything about the roadblocks, they're going to keep showing up.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, and it's a way for you to keep avoiding it, basically, is what you're doing. All right.
Yes.
So what you really need to decide, you need to make a decision. It's a decision that you do really want to overcome that and make the shadow work your priority. Okay.
Yes.
That's what needs to happen. Otherwise, you're going to constantly be in the roadblock stuff. I mean, I've been doing this whole thing with the healers for the last, I started my website, advancedhealersacademy.com. I think it was in 2018.
Nice.
And I still am, you know, moving away from it, avoiding it, and I catch myself, then I come, you know, do some healings, come back to it, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. The key I find is to become your own observant and to really observe yourself and recognize when you're doing this, and then make a decision to heal whatever it is that's stopping you. Because that's exactly what's happening. You can be doing this stuff for years, not get anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Okay. So, you know, how can I help you, you know, get to that step one you need to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't have an answer for you. I don't think you can. I think it's me, you know, deciding to do it and make it a priority.
When you think about that, what feeling does it bring up?
It's no feeling.
Well, what does it bring up on inside of when you think about making that priority?
That I want to make it a priority. I'm disconnected from it. There's no feeling at the moment because I'm not giving it any feeling because my feelings are elsewhere.
Okay. So, okay. Right. So you're making your emotions of doing something else more of a priority because you have what I call resistance.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what you're feeling when there's the nothing there.
Okay.
Okay. Right. You know, it's so funny because in this profession, the one thing that I've learned is just very interesting is that nothing usually means something.
Sure.
Okay. It's like the music is in between, in the spaces between the notes.
Right.
Got to get good at recognizing that. It's that nothing, no emotions towards something is at the same time leading you somewhere else, right? Or averting you from that, you know, and the question is, what is it, right? And do you really want to overcome that, or are you going to keep in this mode for the rest of your life or more?
Right.
Because nothing's going to change until you make the decision to, hey, this, I am serious about it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to see what the heck my problem here is, right?
Yep. Agreed.
Because there is something you don't want to face. Bottom line, that's what it's about, right?
Sure.
Something we don't want to see about ourselves, you know, something that we're afraid to see, some kind of pain, or even, you know, sometimes it's about who we are. You know, seeing all of a sudden, you know, that we're this instead of that and being disappointed in ourselves, right?
Right.
Or stuff like that, you know. The thing is that it holds so much more power over us, the anticipation of it, okay? Then once we're there, it's really not, it usually turns out to be not that big of a deal than what we make it out to be.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And so quite often it's about really putting your foot down and saying, hey, I'm going to decide to do this. I want to do this. I want the end result. I'm going to do what it takes, you know. But from what I've seen, you keep finding excuses why not to. You see what I'm saying? You're playing that game with yourself. You haven't really gotten serious.
Correct. I told you that I've got things on my plate and that
Well,
I
you're
wasn't
gonna
even going to
have-
join this. I
Uh-huh.
wasn't even going to join this until after the new year, but you asked me to help you, so I did.
Well, we are in the new year. We're in the second month of the new year now.
Amen.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is you can keep finding excuses or you can decide to do this thing, period, right?
Sounds good.
And you'd be surprised once you actually heal whatever it is you need to heal to move you forward, how easy things all of a sudden become and how excited you're going to get about your future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all I can tell you, that's all I can tell you, Gavin.
Sounds great.
You know, and I know it's hard to keep going over this over and over again. It's hard for me to keep going over this over and over again. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to help you, buddy.
I know, and I'm grateful for you.
Have you done anything in this member center at all? Have you watched that one video that I made, or nothing at all? Or
Which video? I might have watched that one video, but I'm not positive. But if I did, that's the only thing.
Well, if you don't remember, it must not have been very memorable if you saw it.
Exactly.
I don't know. It leaves me somewhere, I don't know where, but okay then. Well, I'm going to assume that you didn't go in there at all into the member center. That's what it feels like.
All right.
But anyway, so today what I want to talk a little bit about is actually past lives.
Yay.
And how we tend to recreate past lives energetically in the present. And what it does for us in terms of, you know, our circumstances and what we experience, basically.
Okay.
I had an interesting episode of this just the other day. I had absolutely, and so I'm going to share from my own experience I recently had because it's such a great example of it, I guess. So I had an incredible day on Monday. Okay, today's Wednesday, Monday. I had a full out World War with my printer. Okay.
World War IV, huh?
Yeah, World War IV with my printer. Okay. Now, here's what kind of happened in the just is that I wanted to cancel the membership that I been signed up for Instant Ink through this printer thing.
Yeah.
HP is doing this new thing where, you know, they let you sign up to Instant Ink and you have to pay so much per month for a number of pages, right, to print, and then they send you ink every so often. Well, I said, okay, I'll try it. There was actually no alternative to buy this ink somewhere else, like I used to do for my old printer at that point. So I thought, okay, I'll sign up and try it out. Well, they have this weird thing where one plan for $5 a month is like up to 100 pages, and the next plan over is up to 300 pages for $13 a month. And so because I was printing like 125 or 150, I had to get $300 plan and pay twice as much per month, right?
Right.
Which didn't make any sense to me. And after about a year of this, I decided, you know, hey, I paid like $150 for this ink. And they find, you know, after a year, they finally send me the ink. I still have the old ink. So it has, you know, so I'm paying all this money out, but I normally wouldn't. And the cartridge cost like $96 and they are paid $150. Okay, I'm tired of this shit. I'm going to cancel it, right?
Right.
And nowhere it has any indication of what I was going to experience after doing that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I cancel a program and they charge you an extra month. I'm like, what goddamn asses are these? Why do they need to charge you an extra month, right? So, okay, fine. Charge me extra month. Well, after that month was over, the charge, my printer stops printing.
Oh boy.
And it gives me this interesting message. You can't use this ink or print with this ink until you enroll in the Instant Ink program.
Wow.
Yeah. Gavin, I thought I was going to kill somebody.
Yeah, that's why I'm just sitting there shaking my head. I'm like, can you believe this fucking bullshit that they keep doing to us?
Totally. Okay. This is like part of the dark night of the soul thing, I guess. But
yeah,
you know, so I actually figured out how to get around that. Okay, there was something online I figured out how to get around. You just have to switch the ink several times and wait for 10 minutes. I don't know what else, right? And I got it to work.
Nice.
And it worked for a few days now. And then Monday came and it stopped working again.
Gotcha.
And I'm assuming that because this whole thing is connected through online with them, right? They know when you're printing. So I guess they must have figured out that I'm printing without their enrollment.
Ah,
And they sent me a kill shot into my ink and, it terminated it. And I couldn't get it to work after that again. Okay.
wow.
Yeah. So I was so pissed off, Gavin. I don't think I've been this pissed off for a long time.
Right.
And I couldn't find anything anywhere to get this to work. I did a ton of research, YouTube, online, all this stuff. I even called Best Buy where I bought the printer, talked to the guy over there, he sent me to HP. By this time, I'm so pissed off. I'm on the call from HP. You know how they send you through this runaround menu and all that bunch of junk, and then the serial number, I couldn't find the serial number. I'm like hours into, fiddling with this thing. Well, I'm supposed to be building my business. And here I'm fucking around with this printer thing, right? Excuse my expression. And I bought the printer, I paid for it. I paid $150 for the stupid ink cartridge that I got. And I can't use it.
Right.
I mean, I was just livid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point where I spent basically my entire afternoon messing with this stuff and could not get anything to work. And I was just like really riling myself up. And I finally said to myself, Dagmar, you're just going to have to just step back and calm down. Get this thing resolved.
Right.
And so I did, and I started thinking, if I'm this pissed off, it's connecting me to something in the past. It has to.
For sure.
Okay. So I did a healing on it.
Yay.
And guess what? I go into this past lifetime, right? And I got to tell you about this past lifetime. I had some lifetimes in, the Roman Empire as, Spartacus. What do they call them? Those gladiators, right? Gladiators.
Yeah.
I think I was one of those gladiators.
Cool.
I had another episode where I healed a lifetime in that whole arena.
Right.
It had to do with the lions, where they send out the lions to rip people up and stuff. I think I was one of them at one point.
Sure.
And but this particular lifetime, I recognized I was a gladiator, and I was forced to fight another gladiator that we became good friends. And it was one of those fights to death, basically. Either he would kill me or I would kill him.
Right.
And so I ended up killing my best friend, basically.
Yeah.
And it really tore my soul,
Yeah.
And so I did a healing on all that. But I didn't see one piece. But it was interesting because, sometimes you have to recollect all the soul pieces and all that stuff, bring them back. And I saw some, but I didn't see one particular one. So come night, and I'm actually sleeping. And I wake up 1:30 in the morning, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I did. But then I can't go back to sleep. This whole thing with the printer keeps running around in my head continuously, okay? And it's kind of like I can't stop thinking about it. I can't go back to sleep, And so I finally, I even started watching a movie on my phone just to get my mind off of this thing, to stop thinking about it. But one thing that came to me that I recognized, this is where the observer comes in. When you become the observer, by the way, I can't wait for you to start doing some healing, because then we can really talk about this stuff, okay?
Right. Then I
Yeah.
can contribute.
Yes, and you can contribute and really know what I'm talking about. And so anyway, so I recognized as the observer that what I was trying to do by going over this thing in my mind with this ink and the printer and how to, that I was trying to gain power over them, because that's what they had over me.
Yes.
Is power, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they had me squashed. They were basically overpowered me with their stupid crap. and I was powerless. I had to do what they wanted, right?
That's right.
And I was trying to find my power. And so I recognized that, and I realized that I had lost the soul piece, my power in that lifetime when I had to kill my friend.
Right.
So I had to actually reincorporate that soul piece, my power from when I lost it in that lifetime. And you know what? After I did that, no more thoughts, no more running around my head, calm, peaceful, was able to go back to sleep.
Great job.
This is how powerful this stuff is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I want to show you the correlation. Okay. How this got recreated with the printer, right? Because with the printer, there was this sense of powerlessness. Okay. They put me in a corner basically of having no choices.
Yeah.
Having to do it their way, having to do something I didn't want.
Right.
That was the same energy as in that lifetime, being cornered into something I didn't want to do that was going against me or what I believed in, killing my friend, right? And that was that similarity of that circumstance that keyed me into that lifetime.
Right.
Okay. And that is how we recreate our past lives in the present time without even knowing. It's through the set of circumstances energetically that are similar.
Yes.
Okay. And, I wasn't a gladiator, but you know what I mean? It's like it was with the printer, but it's the same energy. It's the same feeling powerless. It's the same being overpowered, having no choices, whatever that energy is around that circumstance. So I want to share this because I think it might help people, some of us, right, as to how to recognize when that's happening. And in the shadow program, I actually have a specific section, okay, when I teach on how to ask the right questions of yourself based on a trigger, when you're triggered, so that you can, at any given moment in time, as you go through life and you find yourself being triggered by something, all right, which can, the best way to recognize this is when your extreme emotion comes up, right? So like you're angry, upset, you're really sad all of a sudden, or, whatever the case may be, or really in fear. And so that you can recognize that you've been triggered and then instantaneously do a healing on it and be done and shift how everything works out. Because, after I did that healing, I calmed down. I was able to call HP. This time I could find the serial number because I was not pissed off, right? And so I was able to get on the phone with them right away, right? And the guy was really nice, trying to help me out. Okay, they want to reset the printer so that I could use other cartridges, whatever else. And I said, well, I'm looking for the cheapest way at this point to get my printer back up. So I opted to go back on their service. I don't want to spend another $100 again on a cartridge, right?
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's so stupid. And so anyway, I'll wait till I have some time and money to deal with all this stuff and,
Right.
But so for right now, it was the most economic way for me to get back up and running, to get back on their system. And without even me asking for it, the guy suggested he wanted to somehow compensate me. And so he decided, let's talk to Instant Ink. And they gave me 2 free months. So it was at least something, but it was in my calmness, in my coming back into my power, that I was able to deal with it and have a positive outcome.
Yes.
And this goes for any situation you're ever in.
Yes.
Okay. So as soon as you get triggered, you are basically dropping on the vibrational tone scale. And then you can't deal with it properly because, if you're coming from fear, you're coming from anger, you're not going to get the right result. You're not going to get the right outcome. And so you got to bring yourself back up to calm and back up to the power. And that happens a lot through actually healing it or disconnecting from it, which might take up to 3 days. But if you can disconnect from it. But the healing is a permanent done deal. You don't have to reconnect with it again at some point. So this is how what we carry energetically that's unresolved can affect us. And it does. It affects a lot of people. They don't even know it.
Yeah.
You know, and so you can spend years in, like I see people talking about dark night of the soul. Oh, I've spent 20 years in dark night of the soul. I'm like, so holy fuck, you know, how do you spend 20 years in dark night of the soul? Okay. That's because people aren't healing their stuff, right?
Yep, exactly.
So
Just going round and round, not healing.
exactly. And so, you know, but this is how basically those past lives can creep up on us.
Yeah.
And we recreate the scenario, you know, energetically in there.
We sure do.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
Any questions on that or any input you have on that or contribution to that?
You know, I appreciate the story that you shared with me, of course, with us, because number one, it's nice to see how you know, handle the triggers. You know, it's nice on one hand to see that you're human and you get pissed off like we do. And, you know, you get off centered and off balance like the rest of us. And, but you know, after you're done spinning, right, you're able to finally, you know, calm yourself back down and recognize that there's some healing that needs to be done here. And fortunately you have the tools that help you to work through that. You know, most people don't have those tools.
Right.
And a lot of people don't have the awareness that it's an opportunity to heal something.
Right. And that's why I'm putting on this 12-month alchemy for people, because I think it is such a critical part to our understanding as healers.
Yeah.
How this whole thing works, because that's how we can help other people then. You know, yeah.
And I liked also another piece of feedback I want to say is that I like how you mentioned that any trigger, you know, throughout your life, big or small, you can use this tool, use this technique to in fact heal it and start moving forward and getting the clarity and the resolution that you need.
Yes. And you know, healing is also so much more than healing. I think that a lot of people think of it as healing traumas or healing big stuff, you know what I mean? Big trauma or things like that, but it's really not necessarily. Okay. Sometimes we have to heal that rejection, you know, in order to get rid of our fear of rejection. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be some rape or a big car accident or whatever, right? Sometimes it's those small things or things we've done. You know, a lot of times in healing, we actually look at what's been done to us. Well, what about the stuff we've done?
Yeah. And I personally think it is those smaller things, quote unquote. Because we all have the big heavy traumas, you know, that happen to us, you know, getting hit by a car or heaven forbid rape or, you know, something, you know, a genuine trauma. And that's all that most people think that we have to heal. But as you mentioned, it's these smaller things
Right.
actually have, I think, a bigger longitudinal effect. Let's try it again.
Okay. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Community or?
No, cumulative.
Oh, cumulative.
Thank you. Cumulative.
Cumulative. You sound like me now trying to.
I've been able to say that word all my life, but for right now, I can't say it. You know, my tongue is tied. Cumulative.
Cumulative.
Cumulative. There we go.
Cumulative.
All right, I got it back in my vocabulary. Oh boy, that was crazy.
Amongst other things, we have to teach healers how to speak, you know. Just
So what I was saying is simply that I think it's these smaller things, quote unquote, smaller things, you know, not the huge life event, the huge life traumas, but it's these smaller things that are these pervasive patterns that we have that I think really is what the healing is. Because, you know, you're going to heal the rape or the car accident or whatever happened, yeah, you're going to spend your time consciously healing that, and then you put it to bed, not realizing that you have all these other little things, these underlying things that are really what's creating the habit and the pervasiveness in your life.
Right, right. Yes, absolutely. And then that there is that other part also where we've done things and it actually hurt us.
Yeah.
Because I find that anytime we work against ourselves, okay, against what we know is right, or what we, say, for example, we killed somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like in my case, in this past lifetime, I was forced to do that. Well,
Yeah.
it destroyed me.
Right.
It destroyed my soul, right? And so it's the same with anything that we do that is against what we believe. See, we're our worst judge and jury, okay?
Yeah.
And so it really, and some people think they can get away with stuff because nobody sees it. Well, you see it. The most important person who sees it is you.
Yeah, you're unconscious.
Yeah, you know what you did. See,
Your
it
own
destroys
conscience.
you on the inside. And that is something that we need to heal as well.
Yes. True.
Because
Absolutely.
that is where we have then the conflict within us.
And that's what I was referring to. It's these things that it's not the huge, car crash, the big trauma, but it's these other judgments and actions and views and feelings that are just low key that really are governing who we are, what we feel, and what we do.
Right, because we're judging ourselves based on those experiences. Yes.
That's right.
And part of this healing, is about letting go of that judgment.
Amen.
Okay. And it's that part of us sometimes that doesn't want to go to healing ourselves and see that part of ourselves because we're afraid to see it. We're afraid to, we're really a bad person. Am I a really bad person because I did this? And so we have that judgment. So we're afraid to go into that place and see that about ourselves. But really,
and it's like in clinical psychology, that's our ego. It's our ego that prevents us, our judgment.
Well, yeah, because our ego is where all our unresolved past or unresolved pain is stored. So based on that, you're acting on that all the time.
Right.
But the key is to allow yourself to go there and heal it, because you actually become much less judgmental of yourself and also less judgmental of others.
Amen.
Once you heal that pain and you resolve that conflict within yourself about something you've done, because in essence, in the spiritual field, it's all about the learning.
Yes.
So we as souls go through things and do stuff, do even mean stuff, horrible stuff, because the soul wants to learn. See, there is no judgment in the spiritual field.
Right.
Okay, we judge, but there is no judgment in the spiritual field.
Yeah.
And so, when we can start looking at things from that perspective and try to not be afraid of that judgment that we have about ourselves, okay? Because in essence, whatever we've done because we wanted to learn something as a soul, okay? It doesn't necessarily make us bad, because truly the spiritual field doesn't have a good, bad, or ugly, right? It all just is.
Mm-hmm.
And it is for the purpose of, learning as the soul. That's it.
Right.
There's
Ascending, getting back to source.
Exactly. And the more you actually engage in that healing process, the less judgmental you become, the less fear you have, and the more you can flourish as a soul. I know, isn't that cool?
It is.
That's one big thing I've learned in my healing, in my journey of healing, because I've had some very dark lives in my past.
Right.
Very dark lives.
Yep, me too. I mean, we all have.
Exactly. And so, that's one of the things that I think is difficult for people to, try to go there. That's why a lot of us don't want to, work on our shadows or don't want to engage in that darkness or look at that darkness.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to look at themselves through those lenses because, it hurts. It's not fun.
Right. But only if we judge.
Well, right.
Right.
And of course,
Yeah.
being human in this lifetime, it's hard not to. That's what we've been taught, That's the very habitual. It's not very unconscious that we do that.
Right. Because I mean, that's interesting because our society is very much geared toward punishment.
Right. Mhm.
Everything in our society is geared toward punishment.
It is, yeah.
And so therefore, if you didn't adhere to these rules and this and this and this and that, then you're a bad person.
Yeah, subject to be punished.
Right, exactly. And so we're kind of really, it's ingrained in us from very young on that we're bad if we do this, if we do that, if we do the other. And it's really not true. I was watching, pure evil. First of all, pure evil, there's only very minute percentage of pure evil out there.
Right.
A lot of what we think is evil is actually us acting out our unresolved pain. And so most people confuse that with evil when we're acting out our unresolved pain because we're repeating it as a soul. Take for example the pedophile, right? People who abuse kids. Well, they abuse kids because they themselves have been abused. And so they're acting it out. They're acting out their old pain. And you see sometimes, in movies and stuff, how, people even kill themselves because they can't stop it.
Yeah.
Or they don't like themselves because they can't stop it, or they try to stop themselves and they can't do it because you can't override this whole process of the soul recreating an unresolved pain. Okay, but you can heal the underlying pain, and that actually stops it.
Right.
And so, yes, I don't know how I got on that right now, but I was trying to say something here. Yeah, so healing can be pretty profound. Once you start that journey, Gavin.
You mean restart it?
Right. Remember that brushing your teeth, you got to make it a habit. You got to do it every day, or not every day, but at least something a week. And then you can also take care of it. I mean, once you recognize like situations you're in that don't work, or even another example I'll give you, from just, I had a ton of healing that I had to do recently. It's been quite bizarre. One of the things I recognized with this whole thing with my pancreas that I've been dealing with, it's health issue stuff, right? One of the things that happens when you have some organ not working right is quite often you actually start having like deficiencies in certain areas all the time, right?
Right.
Like I remember last year, sometime I had constant deficiency in vitamin D and I couldn't get it to, and I was sitting out in the sun for an hour a day for like 2 months straight or something, trying to get that whole thing to work, to replenish. Well, this time with my pancreas, it started having this deficiency in phosphorus, right? So it's like the best way to get phosphorus through milk. I find for me, it's very quick. You don't have to digest it much. It's liquid, right? So I started drinking milk. Man, I'd go like through a fucking gallon of milk in 3 days. I'm like, holy shit, because my phosphorus levels would be always dropping constantly. Every 2 hours, my phosphorus would be dropping. On what the hell is going on? Right? I'd wake up 2 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom. My phosphorus levels are low. And actually, what's difficult about this is that it causes a lot of pain in your bones. Okay, so it's very uncomfortable, first of all. Plus it can really weaken your bones and all that stuff, right? And it has also to do with, it actually causes a problem with regeneration of your red blood cells. So when you're low on red blood cells, because that gets generated in your bones, right, in your bone marrow. So when you're low on red blood cells, it makes you extremely tired. It's like all of a sudden falling asleep, standing up, you know. And
hate when that happens.
I know. And then on top of it, the pain associated with in your bones, you know, my hip would hurt much more. My left ankle would start hurting. I couldn't even walk on it. It was like walking on a freaking broken bone or something. It was horrible. So, you know, this is something that creates quite a bit of urgency in trying to fix it. Pain and tiredness out, right?
Right.
So I recognize at some point that there's something more going on than meets the eye, because it was too often that this thing constantly kept falling on me. I'm like, what the heck, you know, these phosphorus levels. So I all of a sudden it dawned on me, hey, you know what? There may be some kind of healing I need to do. There's something impeding on my system where it's causing me to drop these phosphorus levels too fast or something.
Right.
So I healed several lifetimes in which I was sick. In fact, one lifetime I had, in fact, some kind of bone marrow disease where I died as a young boy.
Wow.
I had some kind of bone marrow cancer. And, you know, ever since I healed that, things are much better. My
Awesome.
phosphorus levels aren't dropping as fast. I mean, it's still, you know, dropping, but it's manageable now. It's, you know, like I can do it like once a day, drink milk, instead of having to do it every 2 hours now.
Right.
So, you know, this is something that as you progress in your journey can learn to recognize and immediately solve instantly situations, health issues, whatever it is. Recognizing that there's something that needs to be healed, that it's not acting right. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, you know. Yeah, we've got 15 more minutes left here today. So what I want to do is perhaps let's talk a little bit about your why. Why do you want to, what do you want to accomplish in the world? You know, what is your real heart's desire of really wanting to, what change do you really want to make? What's in your heart?
That's a huge question.
Mm-hmm.
So many things I'd like to do in this world. So I guess I need a little narrowed down. How do you want me to answer this question?
Well, what's like the really pressing thing in your heart that you really would want to do? If time was an issue, if procrastination was an issue, if money wasn't an issue, if your roadblocks were an issue, if whatever is on your plate was an issue, what is it that you would want to really do? How would you like to make a difference? What is your heart really calling for?
Like I said, lots of different things, Dagmar.
Well, what's the pure magic in there though?
Helping people. Helping people is one thing I really like doing. I don't know if it's my be-all end-all call. I'd have to give it more thought.
Help people how? How would you help people? What change would you like to see in the world? Let's ask that.
Accept others. So people not be so judgmental. For people to realize that our skin color and the different language that we speak is only superficial, and that underneath our skin color, we all are the same being. We want love and to be loved. We want success and to be successful. We want joy and inspiration. And I think most people want good things in life and don't know how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could, one thing I would like to do is to help break down their own barriers, and as I have breaking down my own, you know, to help them realize that stop attacking one another. We're all really the same on the same journey with, you know, little individual differences. Like Maybe he wants to be a singer and he wants to be a plumber, but outside of, those preferences, I think we're the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
If I could help people realize that, and in turn, treat each other differently, that would really be what I would like to do in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. That's excellent. And so let's look at it differently now by looking at, okay, so you want to help people realize that we're all one, really, right? Not to judge each other, not to attack. So how can you heal that within yourself?
Well, I have to find those situations where I'm still triggered by those types of things and energies.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there's some this lifetime and past lifetimes, I imagine.
So
And
perhaps looking at where are you judging yourself or even others,
yeah, for sure.
okay? And then write those. So I'm going to give you homework here to do.
All right.
So I want you to look at, so if you want to change people to not be judgmental, is the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
You have to make that change within yourself. How do you be that change? So you have to find, where are you being judgmental? So I want you to write down and observe yourself throughout the next week or so. Where are you being judgmental? And write it down. Try to catch yourself, become the observer of yourself, okay? And then also write down where you're judging yourself. So each instant when you judge yourself, write that down.
Okay.
And then I want you to start the shadow work program and start looking at healing your judgments.
Okay.
So in other words, you want to go back in time to the spot when you judged someone or judged yourself, right? Or when you were judged by someone. And then heal the underlying pain around that judgment that it caused.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Because, to help others, we have to make that change within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, the phrase, be the change you want to see?
No, never heard of it.
Really?
What are you talking about, Dan? I have no idea.
I know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've heard it many times. Nelson Mandela.
Oh, by Nelson Mandela said it, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't even know that.
See how often I've heard it?
Yeah. We used to live in South Africa, my folks and I, right?
That's so cool.
I know. And, one time my mom tells me the story about how she was in this elevator with this black dude, right? And they were really dark black, and then they had these white eyes, popping out. It was kind of almost scary. And so one of the things that I guess they saw me and my mom, and the black dude goes to my mom, egg like egg. These big ass eyes. My mom first didn't know what she meant, but it was looking, because me and my mom look very much alike, He goes, egg like egg.
And about the eyes, the eyeballs, the
Yeah,
white
yeah,
eyeballs.
it made those eyes really big, and the white eyeballs, and my
That's
mom's
funny.
black face. My mom was like freaked out, egg like egg. So anyway, but
That's a good story.
I know. So anyway, it reminded me of when you said Mandela over there, South Africa. I used to live there.
Nice. That's so
It
cool.
was a
Great
really,
story.
really cool time. It was a really cool time. Really enjoyed
Sure.
that part. We traveled so much. We had no TV back then in the early 70s. That's when we lived there.
Yeah.
There was no television.
Awesome.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Right? And we had so much to do all the time. I mean, we traveled a lot, different areas there. It's through the different parks, the wild animal parks and stuff. And there's so many
cool.
stories, like my mom one time, we're driving through this animal park. My dad has his window open and doing the camera thing and driving at the same time, right? And you're supposed to have your windows up. They say they have signs there because we're driving through the wild animal park. And there's lions sitting right there, I mean, they could jump you or whatever.
Yeah.
So my mom's getting like really scared and she's trying to tell my dad to roll up the window, and he's not doing it, he keeps camera and driving and all that stuff. So my mom reaches over him trying to, close his window and opens the door. My dad's like, what are you trying to do? Kill me over here? Like stories like this,
That's awesome.
So yeah, we had a lot of fun, in South Africa and stuff. It was a really good time and stuff. But yeah, so anyway, the other thing I want you to kind of think about too for your homework is to really hone in on your pure magic. What is that pure magic you have that nobody else has, that you can help the world with?
All right.
We all have that pure magic within us that nobody else has.
Yeah. What's my unique gift?
That's it. Yes. What is that? And sometimes it can take a long time to figure it out.
Yeah.
Just start thinking about it. Start asking yourself that question. Start writing it down. What is that? Write down maybe several things that you've got. Look at what is that absolute pure magic that's just yours. That gift
Cool.
you have that you can contribute to the world and help it change.
That'll be fun.
Yes. So maybe we need to look at the why, the big why for you.
All right.
Why should you do all this healing stuff that you want to stay away from? Where you holding that witch broom like 5 feet over there away from you. Look at the why. What is it you're trying to do here? Why are you here in this lifetime?
Well, that's a different question.
Well, I venture to guess that it probably has to do with the same thing.
Maybe.
Because I think that we all are here to make some kind of difference in this whole ascension process, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We all have something to contribute.
Absolutely.
Most people don't know what that is.
Right. We are sometimes stunned for it, but sometimes it's not that we don't know what it is. Sometimes we don't want to know what it is.
Right.
See, because like for me, I remember my journey, okay? I felt like spirit was pulling me by my hair across the floor, kicking and screaming into this whole thing, all right?
Yeah.
Literally, because I had so much persecution and, for my gifts and for all the stuff I've done in the past trying to help people, that I literally closed the door on all of it. And I didn't even know it. I didn't know it even existed until my twin flame came along and started waking me up and rattling me awake.
Right.
Okay. So I know how strong and powerful it is, that the pain we've experienced that keeps us away from our mission. And at one point I remember thinking, what is, I know I'm here in this life to do something more than what I'm doing, and I absolutely had no idea what it was.
Right.
So anyway, but the key is to start asking those questions.
Okay.
See what you get back. once you ask them, once you put that question out there, you know, something's going to come back and all of a sudden hits you in the head like 2 days later. Oh, wow, you know, maybe I'm meant to do this, you know, here. You know, what is it that draws you? If the fear wasn't there, if, you know, whatever it is that you're, you know, procrastinating about, if that wasn't there, you know, what would you do if you were completely free of all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do? So anyway, this is to end our session today. I hope it helps some, gives you some new things perhaps to work on, but of course you got to work on them.
You have to actually do it.
You have to actually do it. So that's always the key aspect. Do you have like a specified time that you take for yourself to kind of like connect with your spirit, to look at stuff, to look at yourself, do you have any kind of designated time for that? Do you allow yourself that time? Or
Yeah, typically in the morning, do a reading and meditation. Sometimes in the evening, not often in the evening, but typically in the morning.
okay, cool. So yeah, you can use that time to go through some of these questions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps incorporate the you know, the healers stuff, the 12-month alchemy, and watch a video in there. You know,
Yeah,
not all
that's a
the
good
stuff-
idea.
Not all the stuff is about healing. I mean, I have informational videos in there that may inspire you to do things. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So
That's
watch one of
good.
those 30-minute videos, you know?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And just make it part of your routine, you know?
Yep. Sounds great, Dagmar. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you can still do all the other stuff you got on your plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so our next one is then scheduled for 2 weeks from now again, on the 23rd.
All right.
Make sure put it on your calendar at 10:30 again.
All right.
And I wish you a wonderful couple weeks until then. Hey, also wanted to say I have re-energized my group Healers Change the World. Join it. Have some
Okay.
fun with us in there. I
That
do a lot
Facebook?
of yeah, I do a lot of posting for the healer stuff. You know, it's part of my journey of working more with healers.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
request to be part of your group.
That sounds great.
Yay.
That way you get all the inspirational stuff as well. I'm actually going to be doing like a live, what I call the Healers Change the World party, kickoff party.
Whoa.
On Saturday. It's going to be like a live video you can participate in or attend in the Facebook group. And I'll be talking about 4 keys to thriving as a healer, basically. You know,
All
what
right.
to take to thrive as a healer. So yeah, so join it and it'll be fun.
Sounds great. I look forward to it.
All right, sounds good. Well, you have yourself a good one. Love you, and we'll talk soon, huh?
Sounds great. Love you, Dagmar. We'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good. Have a good day.
To enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.